Hello, and welcome to episode 37 of Dirt Road Divinity. I'm your host, Lisa Wade, and this week I talk with Angela Byrne. Angela is an accomplished painter, an award-winning author of 3 novels with another on the way, and the owner and host at the Celtic House B&B in Kilkenny, Ireland. Her perspectives on living beyond fear and following the inspiration of the soul are encouraging and courageous. To me, Angela seems like an Irish national treasure. She works to help keep Irish history and culture alive for people of all ages in the country, but also for those of us from all over the globe who visit. Enjoy this conversation, and please do also check out the show notes. You'll find ways to get in touch with Angela and learn more about her work. And there's also links to 2 videos, that one an interview with Angela and her husband John, and another an interview that she did of her mother-in-law talking about her time as a servant at Kilkenny Castle during the 1920s and 30s. Absolutely fascinating. Please enjoy this conversation with Angela Byrne. Hello, and welcome back for another edition of Dirt Road Divinity. I'm your host, Lisa Wade, and today I am thrilled to be talking with Angela Byrne. Angela, welcome to the show. It's so good to see your face.
Oh, you're more than welcome. I love here with you, Lisa.
Well, I'm so thankful that you're here. You know, we had an opportunity to meet so briefly when I was visiting Kilkenny, Ireland, which is where you are. You have a beautiful bed and breakfast there in Kilkenny, and I was just thrilled at the chance to be able to stay in your home and meet you over breakfast.
Thank you so much. I was really blessed to meet you too. Absolutely.
Well, now I understand that your background, bed and breakfast superhost, is only one of the things you do, but you are an accomplished painter and also an award-winning author with 3 books, I understand, right now. And seems to be that you're living a bit of an inspired life.
I truly am, Lisa. My inspiration knows no bounds.
That's beautiful. I'm curious, where do you feel like your inspiration comes from?
I think it comes from within, but I have no fear of answering to my soul.
Mm-hmm.
I have no fear in writing, and I have no fear in painting. I think I'm an old soul who has been here many times before. And I think that I learned a lot of things in another life. And now I am free. I feel free. I'm free to do anything I would want to do. As I say, it's for me, the writing it is not difficult. It just comes and flows. The painting I do at night, and I have, even though I might say so myself, I have some beautiful paintings that when I begin, I ask the spirit world, God, anyone is there, I will take the brush in my hand and I'll say, take me where you want me. And it does. It does. All I have to do is be open, so open to the soul. It frees me immensely. It just frees me all the time.
As you're talking, I have goosebumps all over my body. Spirit shivers, whatever you call them, but goosebumps all over. And there's so much beauty in it seems that the idea of not having fear about what you feel like your soul is here to do, and that sense of freedom really do go hand in hand.
For sure, Lisa. It does, hand in hand, completely. Because I would never do wrong to anybody. I would never write wrong. I would never paint wrong. I just have that innate connection with my soul and my spirit that, as I say, it's freedom. It's
That
beautiful to, it's a,
freedom. I just love that description of what you do, and it feels like really surrendering over to the guidance, to please guide me, please show me, and that in that, like, surrendering also comes the freedom. And it's not about lack of control. It's about actually allowing, just allowing. Wow.
yes, Lisa, you must allow. If you're scared or afraid, nothing will happen.
Hmm.
If you're open and accepting, yes, it will. That's for sure.
Sometimes I know when I talk on to guests that the message they share is meant for me.
Yes,
There's just
yes, of
so
course.
many out there, but that.
You, speaking to you too, Lisa,
Mhm.
I also feel that from you. You are a good person. You will not do harm to anyone. You will embrace people. You will help people. I can see that all over you and around you. I see it around you too. To me, it's just a gift that you have to hear, to listen, to understand, to be faithful and secure.
Mm,
That is you too, Lisa.
mm.
Truly.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
You talk about being an old soul, and that past experiences can bring us wisdom, bring us strength, bring us courage, sometimes bring us fear, if we allow them to.
Sure.
And I'm curious, one thing that I noticed being in Kilkenny specifically was what others might call these deja vu moments, but a very
Yeah.
strong sense I've been here before, like certain streets that I would go down and I'm like, I remember what happened there. So, like, a strong past life, like, tie to that particular area.
Yes.
And, uh, you know, and I remember it not being all that pleasant, at the time, just in terms of, for some that felt or lived through their connection to their soul and it wasn't completely understood, or it might seem scary to others, it could be a trying time. And my guess is you probably lived through some of that too, but yet to come now from this place of lack of fear and a sense of freedom and this inner strength. Wow. How have you done that?
Yes. I live within Kilkenny and it's medieval city. I
Mhm,
am now 74 years old. I feel all what I did before
mhm,
about my history, my family history, my connection with Kilkenny all the time.
mhm,
Um, and, it's something I let go of to
mhm,
free me, to free me and my soul. I
mhm,
didn't do it intentionally. I wasn't, guided in any way. It just happened. And maybe I am guided. I'm open to it, absolutely. And I love that. But I would, ask people to be kind to themselves,
mhm,
um, be compassionate to themselves, to love themselves. And in that small area of being, I think freedom comes.
mhm,
It's you're not born with it. I don't think you are. I think that it comes. It comes with loving people, talking to people, listening to their story, and that's how I met you.
mhm,
Because you tell your story and you're open to everybody's story. There's
mhm,
no restrictions, there's no security, there's no nothing. It's just chat and talk with you. When I met you too, I felt a connection. I know where you sit in the dining room.
Yep.
And um, when I came to serve you, um, straight away, I knew this person. Um, Nothing magical, but I felt it. That's
Mm-hmm.
it. And we were to meet. We were. Kilkenny was to be, you were to be in Kilkenny and learning the history of even our witch, Dame Alice Kittler,
Yep. Yeah.
with hands and four husbands. That's to
Yep.
carry the stake.
Oh, the history was so fascinating and heartbreaking, but interesting all at the same time. But I will say, during our trip, we had spent a week in Scotland and then came to Ireland for a week. And often I pay attention when I'm choosing where to stay. And in Kilkenny, I had no idea, where am I going to stay? And I was in one of the booking.com or, one of the
Yeah.
websites, scrolling through all the different places to stay. And when I got to Celtic House B&B, shivers all through my body. It's like my soul said, this one. I mean, just goosebumps all over. And I was like, okay, something special is going to happen here. And I'm so grateful that I listened. But it's
And
interesting
me too.
that when we tune in and will pay attention, that it's like magic happens, doors open. And it was just such a blessing. How long have you had the bed and breakfast?
25 years.
25 years there in Kilkenny. Any of you listening or watching, please know that if you go to Ireland, I would highly recommend, if you can only go to one spot, Kilkenny was our favorite. Everything from the
You,
history and the beauty to the hospitality to the music. We just had such an incredible time there. But I can't highly recommend enough
thank you.
at the Celtic House B&B.
Lisa, I think personally that the B&B is the heart of Ireland. In particular, you get to meet the people that live here. You get to know them. In a hotel, you're just like any other person. You don't really feel special. But, I know when someone comes in the door, they're special. I do. Yes, I have that innate feeling about people. They connect with you like you did with me. Yes, truly.
We certainly felt that there. And then when I learned later that you're also an artist, I had, I came back and I started looking. Many of the paintings in the bed and breakfast, are they your work?
All of them.
All of them. I had a feeling I would walk around just amazed. I thought, wow, I wonder where she got that. That's incredible. I mean, your work as a painter is fantastic. Do you sell your paintings if people wanted to see your work? Is there a place to look?
Yes, I will do. I'm going to put them up online.
Uh-huh.
Do you know, I've been painting since I was 50 years old, but I did sell some, in the beginning. I did put them into art, auctions, art for people to look. And we do have an art festival here in Kilkenny, which I did too. But you know something, Lisa, it's a tough thing because if you submit, say 10 paintings, maybe 20, I think I have almost 100. So if you have to stay there all day, all day long. And now I'm not prepared all day.
So let me understand. You started painting when you were 50. You've had the bed and breakfast for almost as long, it sounds like. And you started writing even after that.
60.
And so sounds like there was the first half of your life and then the second half of your life that's very creative. What'd you do the first 50 years?
I raised my 4 children.
4 children.
Yeah. I have one girl, she's the eldest. I have 3 sons then. They were all gone away. They're all back now except one. One is in Australia.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And so at 50, you start living, I mean, not that raising kids wasn't in alignment with your soul, that was, but it was just like, and here's and here's part two. That's incredible.
Yes, yes.
It's incredible.
And I have other plans now for different things. I actually started one, and that is um, the seed was sown back in 2005,
Mhm.
maybe four, I'm not sure. John's mother, she worked in Kilkenny Castle as a young girl.
Oh, wow.
She lived until she was 94. I took her back to the room in the castle where she worked when she was 92 years old. She was a seamstress, and interviewed her for maybe 2.5 hours, maybe three. I had a young film makers come and film and edit the film and do everything. And I offered to then two, say TV programs here on heritage and history and culture. Nobody was really interested then.
Mhm.
But now, Lisa, it's like gold dust. Um, Now they have in the Kilkenny Castle, they have taken all the film from me. They have edited it down to about 20, 25 minutes. Um, I want you to, when we finish this, talk with you, which I hope will go on for another hour more. Kilkenny Castle under videos and podcasts.
Mm.
You will see me and my mother-in-law talking about how it was to work in Kilkenny Castle, day to day, work, days off, whatever, how she went to school, all those kind of things.
Mm.
And now it's actually gone into every junior school in Ireland.
Really?
Yes, yes.
Wow.
Now, it, this my soul sings now because it will never die. It will
Mm.
always be here
Mm.
with everybody. They will remember now how it was to be a servant in Kilkenny Castle, how it was to work all the, for the gentry, what happened then. And she had knowledge of things that weren't known today.
Mhm.
Say she knew where there was underground passageway from Kilkenny Castle across under the street to the stables where the horses were. It was for the people, the gentry in the castle, to escape to if they were being taken over by whatever. Had to get out and go away quickly. So I am so happy that that is there now. And she'll never die. I loved her for a mother-in-law. She was a strong, very strong woman. She reared 6 children herself on a small farm, and she fostered 4. She
Wow.
had 10 children.
Mm.
I don't know how she did that, Lisa, but maybe looking at those people, maybe I got a sense of whatever I want to do, I can do,
Mm.
because she did. She didn't. I'll tell you a funny thing now. She never drank or smoked because that wasn't the thing way back then in Ireland. But she went into, when her husband died, Jim, she was alone. So she came into her daughter here in Kilkenny, and she would go out with the women, her friends in there, and she started having a little drink of whiskey. So she went back home to the farm place to live with her eldest son. She still kept coming into Kilkenny every Saturday. She would start by having her hair done, having her nails done, and then she would go down to the local pub for her food. She'd have dinner, and then she would have a few drinks after the dinner. She'd stay around town until another place opened where there was dancing and music, like you saw.
Uh-huh.
She would not get home until after 2 a.m. Her teenage grandchildren would be in before her.
Love it. Love it. She was living it up and enjoying all all the city had to offer. That's great. That is fantastic. In it sounds like your family, both in-laws, but also your
Yeah,
family has been filled with fascinating characters. I mean, just fascinating people.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm gonna show all three of your books here. I was so excited to have the opportunity to
Oh, brilliant.
bring home all, let me see, all
Yeah.
three of them.
Yeah. No,
The, the one I'm reading currently is the first one, Not
yeah.
Forgotten,
That's the
and
one.
the story of getting into learning more about Kitty.
Yeah.
And wow, whoa,
She
yeah,
was a formidable woman.
whew,
Oh,
yeah. So tell me about like your inspiration and when you finally decided, I have to write this down.
yeah. And it was 24 years after Kitty gave me all the details about the family.
Mm,
Um, and I started by saying, I must write this down for my family because nobody will hand it down after me. It'll have to
mhm,
be me. So began to write, and about maybe 10, 20,000 words in, I thought, maybe this could be a book.
mhm,
So writing was new to me and I loved it because you see, it was an escape.
mhm,
Even when not sitting at the computer, going around during the day, I'd be thinking, oh, this is what you did, that's what you did, but in a good way. And I would then, jot down a few notes for myself to write again in the next morning. And it got from there. Then, when I thought I had it finished, I sent a synopsis off to many publishing houses here in Ireland. But nobody would even reply. I sent
mhm,
one last one, and the one last one was number 31 to send out, and
mm,
that my book. And I can't tell you how overjoyed I was. I launched it here in Kilkenny. I launched it in San Diego. I
mm,
launched it anywhere I could. I was
mhm.
proud of it. I loved what I did with it. It was just a blessing.
The writing is beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. And
Yeah.
to feel there, I mean, to really get a sense of what life was like in these various time periods, what culture and family and just the essence
Yeah.
of kind of Irish life then.
Yeah. Yes.
Amazing, just
Yeah.
amazing. And then to see these uh brave, strong female characters
Yes.
who, are
Yes.
wise and
Yes.
it's fantastic.
Yeah. I love it.
Fantastic.
I love it too. And I think that all women are strong women. They are all strong, but they have to know how to work that,
Mm,
being
mhm.
strong, being, not afraid of your ancestors.
Yeah.
You see, I was born, as they say, out in the sticks in the country.
Mhm,
We didn't have any electricity, we didn't have any running water until, in the 60s, I think.
mhm,
I was born in 1948, so we had all those things then in the 60s. But in the evenings, our house was known as a rambling house.
mm,
And a rambling house means people will come to visit and chat, the local people, because they didn't have any other way of talking,
mhm.
world things that happened. And my father was well read and a great conversationalist. So I was always there, until I was made go to bed. Listen, I listened to all the stories,
Mhm,
and a lot of them were kind of scary stories.
mm,
Um, when somebody died, way back then, Irish people believed they must turn the clocks to the wall
mm,
or hang something over them to stop time. Also, the mirror that had to be turned away or else covered up.
mhm,
I remember my mother when my grandfather died. We lived in the same house. She wore a black band on her arm. She wore black for a whole year,
oh, wow.
and then she wore purple. That's how it was way back then.
Mm,
Not only that, we had this woman called the Banshee. Now, the banshee is a woman. Nobody ever saw her. Well, maybe they did. She, the story goes that she had really long hair, and she combed her hair all the time, combed her hair, and she followed particular families, like with names.
Mm.
Those people she would follow. So when anyone of, say, the McAvoy, the O'Byrne, anything with O, she followed them. So one evening, the one and only time I heard her, I'd say I was 6. Oh, the shriek.
Oh, wow.
Oh, the shriek. And I went back home with my brothers and sisters, my brother, and we heard then that somebody had died. And only then did I put it together. And she, as I said, my mother-in-law, May Byrne, she saw the banshee many times because she was born in 1913, and she would have been, say up to 1920, she would have been 7. She was, of that age. We had an awful lot of things, they called them pishogri. Pishogri. And of course, you never hear the banshee now.
Hmm.
All that has died away.
Yeah.
And maybe it's good that it did.
Yeah.
People were scared. People were, if they heard the banshee, they would first of all think maybe it's someone from their own family.
Mm-hmm.
It did unnerve people. But, Irish people are strong too, because we have our own Irish dancing, we have Irish music, we have Irish sport. Did you ever see river dance?
I did not. I've seen it on TV. When we were in Ireland, we did go to, I think it was called the Celtic Steps down in Kilkenny or in Killarney. And we had so much fun. And it's kind of similar, I think, but just
it's amazing. Yeah. You'll find it too on YouTube. Michael Flatley, he was the man that began all this, and he was such a dancer. You really need to see him, Lisa. Oh, please do.
I'll go find him. Absolutely. I've got viewing fun for the afternoon. That's wonderful. Wonderful. I think what we so enjoyed in Ireland, it's just beautiful. For one thing, the countryside is gorgeous. The people were just as beautiful, but the history there is so rich, and varied. And, I was interested in learning a bit more about the old ways or how it, and that's a little hard to find. I didn't know where to look, and so it was a little hard to find, not knowing where to look. So one of my treasures is when you signed the book that you included.
Oh, a little, yes.
And that was my one connection with
Irish language
there, and that was just beautiful to me. But it does feel like things have shifted, and and it's interesting to hear you say that maybe in some ways that might be for the better, and but that there are still people keeping the positive, uplifting, traditions going. Yeah,
that's it. Yeah, I love it too. I go to America quite a bit. And I see, how American people, particularly over on the West Coast, they have a beautiful life, but it's very sprawling. I don't see a community together. I don't really see that. Maybe it's there. I haven't seen it, but I would love that people get together, talk, because in the end of the day, that's all we have, really. Money, land, houses. Really doesn't matter. It's the people that are there.
People, the memories, the love, the sharing. Absolutely. I grew up in smaller towns. I remember my grandparents lived in a tiny little town, like 1,200 people. And it was just different. I mean, people just stopping by, or we see them on the road and they'd stop, and you go in the grocery store and you know everyone,
Yeah.
But I remember my grandpa, he knew everyone, I mean, he never met a stranger in his town. And
Yes.
that's beautiful. And I miss that a bit. You couldn't get away with anything, everybody
Yeah.
knew your business.
Oh, yeah.
That was
You
for
couldn't
sure.
stay out late.
Yeah. But so I'm curious. I saw when I was staying with you, I saw um some certificates above the mantle that talked about like being involved in San Diego, or maybe parades, or maybe Irish, almost like ambassador to, for different things. Tell me about that connection. What brings you to the West Coast? And
I will, Lisa. Back in 2004 again, this gentleman came to the door, and he had his daughter with him. She was Kathleen and he was Jim. So they stayed a few nights with me,
Mhm.
and Jim was very interesting. And I talked to him a lot, and I found his ancestral home. I do a little bit of genealogy, and you know, he was forever grateful for
Mm.
that. He really wanted to find his ancestral home and his roots in Ireland. So I did. So when they went back to America, he called about once a week on the phone, and we chatted and chatted, and he emailed me and John, and it was like you had a really true friend for life.
Mhm.
So the next year came by, and he rang me and he said, "Would you and John come to San Diego and represent Ireland at the St. Patrick's Day Parade and Festival?"
Mm.
And I said, um, "I will." I said, I don't know for sure, but I'll find out." So I went to our Prime Minister. His name is Bertie Ahern at the time, really nice man. And I told him what was going to happen. And he said he sent me a lovely letter
Mm.
saying, with his blessings, that it was a great honor for me and John. And he also sent me a letter to give to the Irish Congress there. And it was really thanking them for keeping the Irish customs alive and keeping, all those things going for Irish people. And from then on, then me and John then went to San Diego. Jim met us at the airport. He brought us to a beautiful hotel. And oh, Lisa, it was just so amazing. I I think I must have done about 20 TV shows
Oh,
just
wow.
to talk about Ireland, and bring it to the people exactly from where I came from. And for 16 years we have been doing that. We're
Oh,
going back again next year. But Jim was one of the San Franciscan 49ers football team.
no kidding.
Yeah.
Wow.
He, he was also um, something else. Yes, he was the president of the Irish Congress. He was San Diego Man of the Year. See, we didn't know, I didn't know anything about Jim, only he was a nice man. But when I went there, I discovered that he had a lot of power in San Diego at the time, but he has died since then.
Mhm.
I think it's 4 years ago when we flew into San Diego,
Mhm.
and he always met us at the airport, and he wasn't there. And I thought, I rang his phone and said, "We're here." And he had died during the night,
Mm.
lying in. But it was sad, very sad. But I'll always remember him for
Absolutely. Absolutely.
for the wonderful person he is. And then I thought maybe the Irish Congress, they'll have somebody else to come. But no, they love us, like us, they want us to come, which is great. It's
That's
lovely.
fantastic. I love that even in America, you can find pockets that are so honoring of Irish tradition. I didn't appreciate at all. I actually grew up and lived for a long time in Oklahoma.
Okay.
And near Tulsa, my very favorite restaurant just happened to be a restaurant named Kilkenny's.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and a little Irish restaurant and pub. And I had never really looked at the menu, but I mean, I looked at the menu for the food, but there's all these stories in the menu about the history of Kilkenny and about the medieval mile and about
Oh,
my
really?
tellers. And I mean, just all of this various information that I hadn't fully appreciated before. And
Yeah.
so after we came to visit and went back, and I'm reading the menu going, well, I was there, I saw that, and I just had
Yeah.
a whole different appreciation. And I was so grateful after the fact on a whole different level. And the
Yes.
food's wonderful, but having that history represented even in Oklahoma was special to me too.
And that's why you came.
That was a
Yeah.
big part of it. Yeah, I was like, well, if it's my favorite restaurant here, I need to go see it,
Yeah.
see it there. I honestly didn't even know Kilkenny was a town yet
Of
until
course.
I started
Yeah. Yes.
doing the research. But
Yeah.
then I moved to it was even before I moved to Texas. I live in the kind of the Houston, Texas area now. But the very first place that Jim and I went, that and I just fell in love. It was his favorite like entertainment spot to go, and
Oh,
it's this little place called McGonagall's Mucky Duck, and
oh,
it's an Irish pub. They have
lovely.
fantastic live music. That's where we first met Pat Byrne, who's an Irish singer. I guess he won the Irish the voice in
Oh,
Ireland.
the five busy.
Uh-huh. And
Okay.
then I think the very first year it happened, and now he lives in Austin, Texas, but we've seen him perform multiple times. But it
Yeah.
was, I'm grateful that we have the chance to get just these little glimpses of what what culture can be like, and so grateful that people like you are willing to share your culture with us. And so many of us do have ancestral ties, but don't really know what that means other than where to point on a map. you know and so that's just a gift, such a gift you
Yes, I
offer.
understand exactly what you say because I live it every day, really. So
Yeah,
it's wonderful. I'm grateful, very grateful too, for that we can pass this on
yeah.
to our children, to our children's children, and it won't die. Particularly Kilkenny Castle won't ever die.
No.
That I really love, and that my spirit sang,
Hmm.
and I got to go ahead.
I love that. I'm so often talking with guests or even my clients about, well, what makes your soul sing? And the fact that you're sharing, these are the things that make my
Yeah,
soul sing.
yeah,
That's
they do, for
finding that
sure, for
joy.
sure.
Ah, and then
And then
being able to share the joy with others.
yes,
That's
yeah, that's that's the nice part about it all, that you can share it. It's not all for you. You share it with other people and
Mhm.
share it with our children, our children's children. And as I say, it's there forever.
Mm,
And
mm.
people will find it, they will know it, they will live it, and hopefully their soul will sing too.
That's incredible.
Grateful.
When so you were still painting, you're bringing history out into the world, and giving kids the opportunity to experience a different view on history. Is there more writing in your future?
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
Lisa.
Yay.
Just completed the fourth book.
Did you?
Yeah, yes. A lot
Yay.
of it, a lot of it happened during the COVID time. We were closed for 2 years, so I began writing what I remembered about Kilkenny as a child and
Mm,
how it changed by growing up, and how it was for me to see, like years ago, people that were around. There were, you know, during that time there would be a lot of characters in the town
mhm.
because there was no TV or anything like that at that time. So people would ask somebody if they were having a get together to come and maybe play music, maybe some stories, old stories to tell, and all of that. You see, was I remembered all of it.
Mhm.
I
Mm.
don't know why, but if I ask my children today, my younger ones in particular, do you remember that? No, no, I
No.
don't. What are you talking about?
You know, I will say that probably one of the most memorable things during our trip was part of the visit to Kilkenny, and I loved where your bed and breakfast was located because it was so easy to just walk across the bridge and get, into the downtown and not have to fight with parking or anything like that. It was so centrally located or easy, to get to.
Yes, get there.
But we had gone in for dinner
Yeah.
and music, was playing during dinner at the end, that's where we ended up. But then afterwards, I guess it was the man at the Kilkenny brewery or
Okay,
or the Smithwick's brewery
that's it.
that had encouraged us to check out John Clear's.
Yes.
And we happened to be it was magical. It was a
Yeah,
Monday night. And so we
yeah,
learned that every Monday night for 30 years, basically it's just kind of whoever wants to participate and sing and play
yeah,
does. It was amazing. There was so
absolutely.
much talent in that room. And I mean, somebody would be sitting next to us and then they'd be up singing a song in French, or someone else would go up and play in, borrow somebody's guitar and play in Italian and sing in Italian. It was, I,
Yeah.
I don't even have the words for it. It was
Yeah, I
amazing.
know, Lisa.
And so for people who, love music and love live music, Jim, he that was just absolutely one of his favorite things. He was blown away by
Loved
the
it.
talent and the energy. There was something about the energy and just the
Yeah,
welcomeness
yeah,
and the graciousness. It was
yeah.
fascinating.
And you felt is, oh, I have arrived. That's how I feel,
Yeah.
you're sitting down and the music is playing and somebody gets up to sing, and like it's beautiful. In itself, it's just beautiful.
Yeah.
And they can sing and they can dance, and they too are free to give us their songs, give us their music, and let us feel that too, because we do feel it in our hearts and souls. We love the Irish music, and particularly when people can sing it well or play it well.
One thing we did when we right, I think it was the night before we left, we uh we were in Dublin and we saw Garth Brooks in concert in
Oh,
Dublin. And of course he had done the 5 shows, in Dublin. It was
yeah,
crazy. But hearing this football stadium, I guess Cork
yeah,
Park,
yeah.
filled with people belting out every single word to every lyric to Garth Brooks. But then what amazed us is when the fiddle player would come on, the
Oh,
whole crowd would just be like, "Why?" The Irish love their fiddle.
oh,
It was fascinating. And just our preference was like in the smaller venues and the smaller pubs and
yeah,
really feeling and interacting.
yeah,
But there was not a doubt at all that music and it is part of like an important part of the
yeah.
culture.
It
Felt like.
is, it is, it is, Denise. And I too have written a song about Kilkenny.
Oh,
Yeah, I did. There's a place in South East Ireland called Kilkenny City Fair, where lived a witch Dame Alice. It was her name. She poisoned her 4 husbands and was to burn upon the stake. She absconded over to England, and her maid took her place. The building is still standing, as in the days of yore, where music, crack, and pure goes out of every door. That's
mm.
just a verse.
Wow. Wow.
A lot more to
Beautiful.
it.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that. And
You're welcome.
thank you for being it feels like you're just in love with your town and your city and just in love with sharing it with others. And it's such a beautiful place to share.
Thank you.
Now, if others who maybe have never been to Ireland are considering a trip,
Yes,
what kinds of advice might you have for them to really get
most.
the most out of the Irish experience?
Yes, plan like you did your trip, Lisa.
Mhm,
Read up on everything before you come.
mhm.
Then decide what you want to see or which is more important, because you can't see everything.
Yeah.
But you can, like us, the medieval city. There are places in Killarney. You can kiss the Blarney Stone. I
Mm.
wouldn't. I wouldn't kiss it, but a
Don't know
lot of
who's
people
been kissing it
do.
before you.
Yeah, I have enough of gifts to the gab.
That was the one reason we decided not to do that. We were like, "Do we really
You
need any more
too.
Gab?"
You could just see you trying to get down backwards.
Yeah. Not the easiest thing, no.
The cliffs of Moher,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, Belfast, have a replica of the Titanic,
Oh, wow.
went down from
Mm.
2012. Um, there is so many things to do and see, and so many castles. But look, pick the ones you want to see because there are many,
Yeah.
and you get tired of them after a while. It's
Yeah.
when you see about 4 or 5, that's enough. Like you don't.
There are many, absolutely, and I remember when we stayed with you, we had come from Gorey on the
Yeah.
East Coast. It was like, "Really? Why'd you go to Gorey?" And it was just a big confusion
Yeah,
on my part. I was trying to find the Hill of Tara,
yeah,
and there's
yeah,
Tara Hill down there, and I got them
yeah, of
confused.
course.
But watching the sunrise over the Irish Sea on the East Coast was absolutely
Oh,
gorgeous. And so I'm like, okay,
oh,
the
that's so
universe knew
special.
what I needed, but,
You need it. Yes,
I didn't know,
for
but
sure,
we
for
finally
sure.
made it to the Hill of Tara,
Yes.
and it was
Oh, that
amazing.
was lovely, Lisa.
But being willing to just to do the research to know where you're headed and then leave it open to what we found that we would talk to people like you, like others, the locals, and
Yeah,
say, "What's amazing?" And so much of what we did was guided in that way. We found, like, we would have never known to go to John Clear's had it not been for
oh, I'm
someone
telling
there
you.
telling us. And it was just beautiful. But you're so right. There's no way to do and see it all, especially in a week, or we can't
Yeah.
wait to come back. We're just like, we
Yeah.
just got to go.
You have an invitation from us.
Thank
Please
you.
do. And I'm going to go out with you this time.
I'd love that. I would love that. And please know, anytime you're in the States, if you want to experience Texas, you've always got a place to stay. My
Thank
home,
you.
I would be honored to open
Oh,
my home to you. Uh,
thank you so
just
much.
honored.
Thank you.
It's been such a pleasure. I hope that we have an opportunity to stay in touch and to
I hope
keep
you
this
do.
conversation going.
Oh, please do. Is there anything else you'd like to hear about or talk about,
Oh,
Lisa?
anything that's important to you, if there's anything, I so appreciate just the very first things that you said about coming from a place of a lack of fear, that and how that is freedom, that
Yes,
really hit me.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. And I want to give that to you too.
Mm,
I want to. I want to pass it along to you. And
thank you.
because we only come this way but once.
Hmm.
We must make it special.
Yeah.
We must take care of ourselves, our loved ones, and not be afraid to take on the big guys
Mm,
or to take on something that you want to do. You
mm,
can always try. If you fail, it doesn't matter.
yeah.
Try something else, do something else, and that's how to live really. I'm no saint or anything like that. I love life. I love what I do.
Hmm.
Wouldn't change it for the world, but I'm still open. I'm still open. I don't close off anything ever, ever.
Mm.
No, it's just beautiful. And it's beautiful to talk to you because I'm so looking forward to talking to you, Lisa. I have a connection with you. I know I do.
I feel it too. Absolutely feel it too. And I hope that when the next book comes out, you'll come talk to me again,
I will.
if not before,
I
and
will.
share more about that book and how it came to be. I'm so looking forward to that.
Thank
And I
you.
just thank you for your insights and wisdom and for sharing your time and your city and your heart with us and sharing your soul in so many ways through your painting, through your writing, through your hospitality.
Thank you.
It makes the world a better place.
It does. Thank you.
And I am
If I can pass that along, yes, that would be my
You
real
definitely,
gift.
you definitely do. So trust
Yeah.
that.
Thank you,
Well, I
Lisa.
want to thank you so much. And to everyone that is listening, thank you for listening. Now, if others wanted to connect with you to buy your books or
Yes.
come stay at the Celtic House
Yes,
B&B,
yes, please.
what please, what are the best ways to find you and to connect?
Yeah, via email, really, or go into the B&B website,
Mhm,
Celtic House B&B.com.
mhm.
Check me out on Google,
Okay,
YouTube, and all
perfect.
everything.
What I'll do in the show notes is include links to how to find you and the names of your books and how to find the bed and breakfast. And thank you so much for all you bring into this world. I'm deeply grateful.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Lisa. I love you.
Oh, I love you too. And to everyone listening, thank you so much for tuning in for another episode of Dirt Road Divinity. I look forward to talking with you next week. Thank you for listening. Let's connect in between shows, either through Facebook, Instagram, the website, or email at lisa@dirtroaddivinity.com. Talk to you next week.